When the situation on the battlefield is most dire, your troops' lives hanging by a thread, you will need a skilled healer to bring them back to peak fighting form. Even allies who have been knocked unconscious can be revived, restored anew, ready to confront their opponents by the pious White Mage. Their restorative magics give your squad the confidence and security to push themselves further and achieve greater results. Not content with reacting to damaged allies, a White Mage also comes with protective skills that free them from constantly hovering over your frontline units, waiting to heal, and can even help with offensive magical damage. Hi, I'm Mikey from Tactics Live Tournament, and today I have another episode in the Job Focus series. The goal of these videos is to crack open the hood on each class, present technical information in a simplified way, and help you make better choices when raising your squad. In today's Job Focus, we're going to do a deep dive into the White Mage class, looking at their equipment choices, how their abilities work, and touch on how to manage their stats. Whether you are just getting started on your single-player adventure and unlocking this job for the first time, or you're creating a multiplayer experience and need a sturdy healer to balance out your roster, it's time to bow your heads in solemn prayer and offer up your holy soul to Saint Ajora as we get into a White Mage Job Focus session. White Mages specialize in healing first and foremost, with a healthy selection of options for mitigating damage, neutralizing debuffs, and reviving slain allies. The job is very straightforward to learn, quick to unlock, and offers up decent stats. This combination makes it worthwhile to stay as a White Mage at the start of the game, so you can rest assured your unit won't suffer as they level. The skills available to you vary in effectiveness, but all are bound by your White Mage's faith, so having a high faith healer is a must. It also helps to have the units you expect to receive healing to also be of high faith to maximize how much HP is restored. To unlock the White Mage, you will need a level 2 chemist. This is one of the first jobs you unlock, and a bit of a departure from its prerequisite. You will find that there's basically little to no learning curve to the job, and a job that you will enjoy for the rest of your journey. For a holy magic user, we will need to pick out some suitable weapons and armor to aid us in restoring our friends. And for our main hand, we will be sticking to the humble staff. Staves are slightly different melee weapons in that they use your MA stat to determine their damage, multiplied by weapon power. Keep this in mind as you begin to find items to don, as you will want to look for anything adding MA to increase your staff's damage. For our head, we will want to also look for any items that give us MA, so brass coronet and lambent hat are ideal choices. If you don't mind giving up a little melee attack power and healing, you can opt for higher speed with acacia hat or thief's hat. As with the head, so too with the body. I recommend lordly robe and wizard's robe for MA boosts, and ninja gear or mirage vest for a faster healer. For females, definitely consider hair adornments as they come with amazing debuff protection, keeping your healer as reliable as possible. Moving on to accessories, we have a pretty open field to play in, and you will either want to reinforce the stats you are boosting from your weapons and armor, or make up a deficiency. Mage Power Gloves for MA will give your spells a bigger impact, Brigand's Gloves for speed for more frequent turns, or Gaia's Collegae to help with your White Mage into tighter spots. Also for accessories, don't neglect protective gear like Imperial Armband for debuff protection or Sage's Ring for elemental absorption. Females will definitely want to browse perfumes, particularly Chantage and Tainar Rouge. We now have our White Mage donned and geared to aid them in battle. Now, let's take a look at their ability set that will help them do the same. All White Mage abilities are affected by their faith, and the faith of the target in some way, whether it's the success rate or the amount of healing done with your spells. All White Mage abilities besides Holy ignore Shell and Arcane Defense as well. For Cure abilities, you can multiply your faith by your target's faith as percentages, then multiply by your MA, then by the ability's individual power rating, listed below. For the remaining spells besides Holy, you can calculate your success rate by multiplying your faith and the target's faith as percentages, then multiply by the result of your MA and the ability's individual factor. For Holy specifically, repeat the Cure ability formula with a power rating of 50. Looking at the White Mage ability specifically, you will want to start your journey with Cure, Protect, and Shell. They are very affordable in job points to learn, with Protect and Shell having very high success rates and requiring little MA to boost. Next, you'll want to focus on getting Raise, Cura, and Asuna. These help extend the duration of the battle by bringing units back to life with 50% HP, doling out much more efficient heals, and removing debilitating debuffs. Regen is a great fire and forget healing spell that gives the target 10% of their HP back every turn, and is excellent in combination with Life Font movement skill. Arise is a very attractive spell that restores a unit to 100% HP despite its diminished success rate. Re-Raise is a great investment as one of the best early buffs in the game, particularly for your White Mage. Protect Ja and Shell Ja are nice to have with their increased height area of effect, but can be safely saved towards the end of your ability gathering. Similarly, Wall is an efficient way to get both Protect and Shell on your units in one action, with an expected relatively low success rate and premium MP cost. Your upper tier restorative spells, Curaga and Curaja, are slow and heavy heals that scale in power and cost. As these spells become available, you will find you may not need as much HP as they are capable of providing, but they are nice to have in the back pocket if needed. Finally, the indomitable Holy spell, legendary in its visual awesomeness and destructive power. For a whopping 56 MP and a range of 5 tiles, this single target spell is the only offensive action available to the White Mage, but it is a doozy, and highly recommended for endgame bulldozing. Last note on healing magics is their inverse effect on undead units, where Cure spells will inflict damage and Raise spells will inflict damage equal to the amount of HP restored upon revival. Moving on to reaction abilities, we only have one to cover today, Regenerate, which casts regen on your unit after taking damage. While not the ideal way to get this great buff, it does free up an action to do so and pays itself off if you can stay further away from damage and soak up free HP. Lastly, we have the single passive skill, Arcane Defense. This is a great ability to pick up for every role, and I highly recommend at least getting this skill from your White Mage job to have in your repertoire. When we look at the White Mage class and growth stats, we get a glimpse of a unit that defies typical ranged caster profile with some pleasant surprises. Where we won't be surprised is the usual 3 move, 3 jump, and the minimum 5% class evasion rate. I assure you there is better news ahead. Starting with class stats, the White Mage does offer a penalty of 80 to HP, but enjoys 120 to their MP, 90 to their PA, and a nice 110 to MA, but most surprising, 110 to speed. This is one sturdy little mage. On the growth side, we have amazing HP and MP growth, decent PA growth, and standard MA and speed growth. With a plethora of useful abilities to grind out, and a class stat profile that'll sustain the unit no matter what equipment available, you can grow a White Mage for many levels to produce a character that will shine whatever its final form may be. Solid, reliable, and a cornerstone of any roster that can go the distance in battle. White Mages provide the necessary healing to keep your other units fighting on. White Mages can be configured with MA boosting robes or speed boosting clothes, depending on your strategy and roster composition. White Mages enjoy class stat boosts to both, so either direction should serve you well. White Mages rely on your faith and the faith of the target, not only for chances of success, but for the amount healed by cure spells and damage done by holy. Also remember, restorative and revival spells damage undead units. Your first abilities learned should be Cure, Protect, and Shell. All of these are cheap to learn and will serve you well for the rest of the game. Re-raise is a great investment and worth the extra time to grind out for its high job point cost, as it shines as one of the best early buffs to give yourself. Definitely save up for Holy, the White Mage's only offensive spell. Just remember that it costs over 50 MP, so make sure you have enough reserves to cast it and can still deliver value afterwards. This concludes this episode of the Job Focus series with the White Mage. Did you enjoy today's content? Why not throw it a like? Even this little gesture helps get this video in front of more viewers, and I certainly appreciate that. While we are starting the second half of the Job Focus series, I'm still looking for suggestions on the next episode down in the comments, so feel free to do just that. And shout out to user Alfredo Serpa here on YouTube for suggesting this video. Thanks, buddy. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little more about this understated healer. Speaking of next episode, make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, so you know when the next episode goes live. Turning on notifications ensures that you don't miss the next live stream or live PvP match, both of which are coming up soon, and I look forward to seeing you there. This is Mikey from Tactics Live Tournament signing off. I will see you in the next video. And until then, be well, everyone.